Welcome to my channel Bookish English 2. Have you ever wanted to talk to someone, but your heart starts beating fast and your mind goes blank? You know simple English, but you still stay silent. What if starting a conversation could feel easy and natural, step by step? Stay with me, because by the end, you will feel ready to speak. Chapter 1. The Silent Moment. We all feel. You see someone. You want to say something, maybe just a simple hello. But suddenly, your heart starts beating faster, your mind becomes full of thoughts, and your voice stays inside you. This moment feels very small from the outside, but inside, it feels very big. Almost everyone who is learning English has felt this. You are not alone in this feeling. It happens in school, when a teacher asks a question, and you know the answer, but you stay quiet. It happens at work when you want to speak in a meeting, but you look down instead. It happens when you meet someone new, and you smile, but no words come out. This silent moment is real, and it can feel very heavy. In that moment, your brain starts working too fast. You think, what if I say something wrong? What if my grammar is not correct? What if they do not understand me? What if they laugh at me? These thoughts come again and again, and they stop you before you even try. You are not weak. You are just thinking too much. You are trying to be perfect before you even start. And that is where the problem begins. Because speaking is not about being perfect. It is about connecting. But your mind is trying to protect you, so it tells you to stay silent. It tells you it is safer not to speak. Let me tell you something important. That silence you feel is not because you cannot speak English. It is because you are afraid to try. Many learners think they need more vocabulary, more grammar, more practice before they speak. But the truth is, many times, you already know enough to start. You know simple words. You know basic sentences. You just do not trust yourself. So you wait. And while you wait, the moment passes. The conversation ends. And later, you think, I could have said something. I should have tried. That feeling stays with you, and it hurts a little. This happens in very normal, everyday situations. Imagine you are in a shop, and you want to ask for something, but you stay quiet. Imagine you are sitting next to someone, and you want to start a small conversation, but you look at your phone instead. Imagine someone smiles at you, and you want to respond with words, but you only smile back. These are simple moments, but they are powerful. Because every time you stay silent, your fear becomes a little stronger, and every time you speak, your confidence becomes a little stronger. So here is something you need to understand deeply. The problem is not your English. The problem is your thinking. You believe you must speak perfectly. You believe you must not make mistakes. You believe people are watching you and judging you. But what if this is not true? What if people are not thinking about your mistakes as much as you think? What if they are just happy that you are trying? What if your fear is coming from your own thoughts, not from reality? Take a moment and think about this. What if your fear is not the real problem, but your thinking is? What if the moment you stop trying to be perfect, you finally start speaking? This is where your journey changes. Not when your English becomes perfect, but when your mindset becomes free. Because speaking starts in the mind before it comes out of your mouth. Right now, I want you to remember one simple truth. You are not the only one who feels this way. Every confident speaker you see today was once silent like you. They also had that moment when they wanted to speak but could not. The difference is, one day, they decided to try. Not perfectly, just simply, just honestly. And that small decision changed everything. So the next time you feel that silent moment coming, do not run away from it. Notice it, feel it, and ask yourself one question. Is my fear real, or is it just my thinking? Because the answer to that question can open the door you have been afraid to walk through. Chapter 2. You don't need perfect English. You have been waiting for the right moment, the moment when your English becomes perfect, when your sentences sound smooth, when you feel ready with no fear. But that moment keeps moving further away. Every day you learn something new, but still you feel it is not enough. You tell yourself, maybe tomorrow I will speak, maybe next week I will be better. And slowly, without realizing it, you build a wall between you and speaking. This wall is not made of bad English. It is made of one belief, a very strong belief, that you must be perfect before you open your mouth. Let me gently break this belief for you. You do not need perfect English to start talking. You never did. In fact, waiting for perfect English is one of the biggest reasons people stay silent for years. Because perfection is not real in speaking. Even native speakers make mistakes. They stop, they change words, they correct themselves, but they keep talking. They do not wait. They trust the flow, not the perfection. Think about how people communicate in real life. A child speaks with broken sentences, but everyone understands. A traveler speaks simple words in a new country and still gets help. Communication is not about perfect grammar, it is about sharing a message. It is about connection. If your words are simple but clear, they are enough. If your sentence is not perfect but understandable, it is enough. English is not a test when you speak. It is a tool. Let me show you something powerful. Imagine you meet someone and you say, "Hi, I am new here." That is not a big sentence. It is not complex, but it works. Or you say, "Can you help me?" Again, very simple, but it opens a conversation. Or even just, "Nice to meet you." These are small sentences, but they are strong. They do their job. They connect you to another person, and that is the real goal. Many learners think they need long sentences to sound smart. They try to build perfect grammar in their head before speaking. But this makes speaking slow and heavy. Instead, simple English makes speaking fast and natural. It gives you freedom. When you stop trying to sound perfect, you start sounding real, and people connect with real, not perfect. I want you to feel a sense of relief here. Take a deep breath and let go of the pressure. You do not need to impress anyone. You do not need to prove anything. You only need to express yourself. Even if your sentence is small, even if your grammar is not perfect, your voice still matters. Your words still carry meaning. And every time you speak, even a little, you are moving forward. Now think about your daily life. You do not need big words to talk about simple things. You can say, "I am tired today." You can say, "I like this." You can say, "Where are you going?" These are real sentences for real life. And the more you use them, the more natural they become. Slowly, without pressure, your English grows. Not because you waited for perfection, but because you started using what you already know. So let me ask you something that can change how you see speaking. What if just 5 simple words are enough to start a conversation? What if you do not need a full perfect sentence, but just a small step? Because that small step is where confidence begins. And once you take that step, something beautiful happens. You realize that speaking is not as scary as you thought. You realize that people understand you. You realize that you can do this. And that is the moment everything starts to change. Not when your English becomes perfect, but when you stop waiting for it to be. Chapter 3. The first simple sentence. Everything changes with one small step. Not a big speech, not a perfect paragraph, just one simple sentence. The kind of sentence you already know, but maybe never use. This is where your speaking journey truly begins. You do not need to think about long grammar rules or difficult words. You only need to open your mouth and say something small, something real. And yes, it may feel scary at first, but it is also the easiest way to break that silence that has been holding you back. Imagine this moment. You see someone. Your heart starts to beat a little faster, but this time, instead of staying silent, you take a small step forward and say, "Hi, how are you?" That is it. A very simple sentence. You have heard it many times, you understand it completely, and now you use it. This is not just a sentence. This is a door. The moment you say it, something opens. The other person smiles. Maybe they answer, "I'm good, how are you?" And just like that, a conversation begins. Not because your English is perfect, but because you started. This is the power of the first simple sentence. It does not need to be special. It only needs to be honest and clear. You can say, "What is your name?" You can say, "Nice to meet you." You can say, "Where are you from?" These are not big sentences, but they are enough. They carry meaning, they invite connection, and most importantly, they are easy for you to say. When you use simple sentences, your mind feels lighter. You do not need to think too much. You just speak. But there is something else that makes your sentence strong. It is not only the words, it is how you say them. A friendly tone, a small smile, a relaxed face. These small things change everything. Even if your sentence is not perfect, your energy can make it feel natural and warm. People do not only listen to your words, they feel your intention. And when your intention is friendly, your English becomes more powerful. Now think about practice. You do not need a perfect situation to start. You can practice these sentences in your room. You can stand in front of a mirror and say, "Hi, how are you?" Again and again. At first, it may feel strange. You may laugh at yourself. But slowly, something changes. Your voice becomes stronger. Your fear becomes smaller. Your sentence becomes natural. And one day, when you say it to a real person, it will feel easier than you expected. Many learners wait for confidence before they speak. But the truth is, confidence comes after you speak. It grows with action, not with waiting. Every time you say a simple sentence, you are training your brain. You are telling yourself, "I can do this. I can speak." And that belief becomes stronger with every small step you take. So do not look for big words. Do not try to sound perfect. Start with what you already have. Start with one simple sentence. Because that one sentence is not small. It is the beginning of your voice. It is the moment you move from silence to expression. It is the first step toward becoming a confident speaker. And now I want to ask you something. Something very simple but very powerful. This one sentence can change everything. Are you ready to try it? Chapter 4. Body Language Speaks First. Before you say anything, before you even open your mouth, something is already speaking for you. Your body, the way you stand, the way you look at someone, the way your face moves. All of this sends a message. Many people think speaking is only about words, but the truth is, communication starts before words. And this is very powerful for you. Because even if your English is simple, your body can help you feel strong, calm, and ready. Think about a moment when you felt nervous. Maybe you looked down, your shoulders felt tight, your face became serious, and your voice became very soft. This happens naturally. Your body shows your fear. But here is the good news. You can also change this. You can use your body to support your voice. You can create a feeling of confidence, even if inside you still feel a little nervous. And slowly, your inside feeling will follow your outside actions. Start with something very simple: eye contact. You do not need to stare, just look at the person gently for a moment. This small action shows that you are present, that you are open to communication. Then, Add a small smile. Not a big fake smile, just a natural one. A smile makes everything softer. It makes you feel warmer, and it makes the other person feel comfortable too. Suddenly, the situation feels less scary. Now think about how you stand. If your body is tight and closed, your mind feels the same. But if you relax your shoulders, stand straight but not stiff, and take a slow breath, something changes. You feel more in control. Your body tells your mind, "It is okay. You are safe. You can speak." This is not magic. This is connection between your body and your emotions. You may still feel nervous inside, and that is okay. You do not need to wait for the fear to disappear. You only need to act in a calm way. When your body shows calmness, your brain slowly believes it. And when your brain believes it, your words come out more easily. This is how many confident speakers started. Not because they had no fear, but because they learned how to manage it. Let me give you a simple picture. Imagine two people. One person has perfect English but avoids eye contact, looks down, and speaks very quietly. The other person uses simple English, maybe makes small mistakes, but looks at you, smiles, and speaks with a relaxed body. Who feels more confident to you? Most people will choose the second person, because confidence is not only in words, it is in presence. This means you already have something very powerful in your hands. Even before your English improves, your body can help you connect with people. You can practice this every day. Stand in front of a mirror, look at yourself, smile a little, say a simple sentence. Notice how your face, your eyes, and your body change the feeling of your words. This is practice, but it is also transformation. And here is something beautiful to think about. What if people feel your confidence before you even say a word? What if your body tells them, this person is friendly, this person is open, this person is ready to talk? Then your first sentence becomes easier, your fear becomes smaller, and your conversation begins before your words even start. Chapter 5. What to say after hello. You said hello. You did it. That small step that once felt impossible is now behind you. But then comes the next moment, and it feels just as heavy. Your mind suddenly asks, what now? What do I say next? How do I continue? This is where many people stop again, not because they cannot speak, but because they do not know how to move forward. That small silence after hello can feel uncomfortable, and you may feel like the conversation is slipping away. But here is the truth that can change everything for you. You do not need big ideas to continue a conversation. You only need simple, natural steps. Think about how real conversations work. They are not perfect. They are not long speeches. They are small exchanges. One person asks something simple, the other answers, then asks something back. This is how connection grows. You can do the same with very easy questions. After hello, you can say, how are you? This is one of the most common and powerful questions. It is simple, but it keeps the conversation moving. If they answer, you can respond with something small like, that's nice, or I am good too. You do not need long sentences. You only need to stay present. If you want to go one step further, you can ask about daily life. Simple questions like, where are you from? Or what do you do? Or even, is this your first time here? These questions are easy to remember, and they open the door to more talking. The other person will answer, and now you have something to work with. You can react. You can say, oh, that's interesting, or I like that, or that sounds good. These small responses show that you are listening, and they keep the conversation alive. Many learners think they must always speak long sentences to sound good. But this is not true. Short answers are powerful. In fact, short answers make the conversation feel natural. You can say, yes, I like it, or no, not really, or I am learning. These are real sentences used in real life. When you use them, you feel less pressure. You do not need to build something big in your mind. You just respond, step by step. There is also something very important to remember. A conversation is not your responsibility alone. It is shared. The other person is also part of it. You do not need to carry everything. If you ask a question, they will speak. If they ask something, you answer. It is like a small game, passing words back and forth. And when you stop trying to control everything, you start enjoying the moment more. Let yourself be simple. Let yourself be human. It is okay to pause for a second. It is okay to think for a moment. What matters is that you stay in the conversation. Even if your English is not perfect, your effort creates connection. And every time you continue after hello, you are building your confidence. You are teaching your mind that you can handle this, that you can stay, that you do not need to run away. Imagine this clearly. You say hello. You ask one simple question. You listen. You answer. You ask again. This small cycle is the heart of every conversation. Not something complicated, not something scary. Just simple steps repeated again and again. So now ask yourself something honestly. Starting is easy, but can you keep the conversation alive? Because the moment you learn this, your fear will not control you anymore. Instead, you will flow with the conversation, one simple sentence at a time. Chapter 6. Mistakes are your power. You are afraid of making mistakes. Almost everyone is. That small voice in your head tells you, do not speak, you will say something wrong, people will notice, people will judge you, and because of this fear, you stay quiet. You wait. You try to prepare the perfect sentence in your mind, but while you are thinking, the moment is already gone. This fear feels real, and it feels strong. But what if I tell you something that can change everything for you? Mistakes are not your enemy. Mistakes are your power. Let's look at this in a very simple way. When a child learns to speak, do they speak perfectly from the first day? No, they make many mistakes. They say wrong words, they mix sentences, they forget grammar, but they keep speaking. And because they keep speaking, they learn faster. Nobody stops them. Nobody says, wait until you are perfect. They grow through mistakes, not without them. And you can learn in the same way. Now think about your own situation. Maybe you say something like, I am go market instead of I am going to the market. Yes, it is not perfect. But can people understand you? Of course they can. Your message is clear. You are going to the market. Communication is happening. And that is the goal. Or maybe you say, he go yesterday instead of he went yesterday. Again, not perfect. But the meaning is still there. The listener understands you. You are still connecting. This is something very important to understand deeply. Speaking is not about perfect grammar. Speaking is about sharing meaning. If your meaning is clear, your sentence is working. And every time you speak, even with mistakes, you are training your brain. You are improving. You are moving forward. But when you stay silent, nothing changes. Silence feels safe, but it keeps you stuck. There is a hidden gift inside mistakes. Every mistake shows you something. It shows you what you need to improve. It shows you where you are growing. When you make a mistake and then learn the correct way, that learning becomes strong. You remember it better. You feel it. This is real progress. Not from reading, not from thinking, but from doing. Let me change your perspective a little. Imagine two learners. One learner waits to speak until everything is perfect. The other learner speaks every day, makes mistakes, learns, and continues. After 1 month, who will speak better? The second one, not because they knew more at the beginning, but because they used their English. They allowed themselves to be imperfect, and that gave them power. You do not need to feel ashamed of your mistakes. You need to use them. When you say something wrong, do not stop. Keep going. Finish your sentence. The more you continue, the more natural it becomes. Confidence is not built by being perfect. It is built by continuing, even when things are not perfect. Now imagine a moment where you speak, you make a small mistake, but the other person still understands you, still responds, still smiles. In that moment, something changes inside you. You realize, it is okay, I can speak, I do not need to be perfect. And that realization is powerful. It breaks the fear that was holding you back. So instead of asking yourself, what if I make a mistake? Ask yourself a new question. What if this mistake is helping me grow? What if this wrong sentence is taking me one step closer to fluency? Because the truth is, every mistake is practice. Every mistake is progress. Every mistake is proof that you are trying. And now I want you to think about this deeply. What if every mistake is actually helping you speak better? Because the moment you believe this, your fear will turn into courage. And when you have courage, you will finally start speaking freely, without holding yourself back. Chapter 7. Practice in your own world. You do not need a perfect place to practice. You do not need a classroom, a teacher, or even another person. You already have everything you need. Your voice, your thoughts, your daily life. This is your world, and it is the safest place to begin. Many people wait for the right environment, but the truth is, the best environment is the one you already live in. When you start practicing in your own space, something powerful happens. You feel free. You feel less judged. You feel more open to trying, to making mistakes, and to growing. Start with something very simple. Talk to yourself. Yes, it may feel strange at first, but it is one of the most powerful ways to build your speaking skill. You can say what you are doing. I am sitting. I am drinking water. I am going to the kitchen. These are small sentences, but they connect your actions with English. You stop translating. You start thinking directly. And slowly, your brain becomes comfortable with this new way of speaking. Then bring in the mirror, stand in front of it and look at yourself. This is not just practice, it is connection. You are speaking to yourself, but you are also preparing to speak to the world. Say simple sentences like, "Hello, how are you?" Or "My name is wrong." Watch your face, your expression, your confidence. At first, you may feel shy, you may even laugh, but stay with it. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. You begin to see yourself as someone who can speak English. Now use your imagination. This is where practice becomes alive. Imagine you are meeting someone for the first time. Imagine you are in a shop. Imagine you are asking for help. Create small situations in your mind and speak through them. Ask a question, then answer it. Play both roles. This may sound simple, but it trains your brain to think and respond quickly. It prepares you for real conversations before they even happen. You can also use your daily life as practice. Every moment is an opportunity. When you wake up, say something in English. When you walk outside, describe what you see. When you eat, talk about your food. These are not big lessons, but they are real practice, and real practice builds real confidence. You do not need hours. You only need small, consistent moments. The beauty of this method is that there is no pressure. No one is watching you. No one is judging you. You can make mistakes freely. You can repeat the same sentence many times. You can stop, think, and try again. This freedom is what helps you grow, because when fear is low, learning becomes faster. And here is something very important. You do not need to practice for a long time. Even 5 minutes a day can change you. 5 minutes of speaking is better than 1 hour of thinking. When you practice daily, even in small amounts, your brain builds a habit. English becomes part of your life, not something separate. And when something becomes a habit, it becomes natural. Imagine this. Every day, you spend just 5 minutes talking to yourself, using simple sentences, practicing small situations. After 1 week, you feel a little more comfortable. After 2 weeks, you notice your words come faster. After 1 month, you realize something has changed. You are not as afraid anymore. You are ready to try speaking with others. So now ask yourself one simple question. What happens if you practice just 5 minutes every day? Because the answer is not small, it is powerful, it is transformation. And it starts right here, in your own world, with your own voice. If this video helped you feel more confident, don't stay silent anymore. Start today, even with one simple sentence. Comment below your first sentence in English. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's grow your English together.